Well, hi guys. I am late. I was trying my hardest to get my camera up on my, okay, it says that I'm back. Oh, this is beginning to get on my nerves. I can't seem to get it to work properly. Give me a second. I need to grab one of my other stands. So I apologize. I'm late. I was having a hard time getting it up on my laptop. It's still not cooperating with me. So there goes that. Let me see if I can. So I ended up having to open it up on my phone. I wasn't ready for that. Hello, Miss Rachel. Glad to see you on here. It says 3 people are on. So again, I apologize that I'm late. Laptop's not cooperating. Should just close it, to be honest with you. I need to set my phone down for a sec. Sorry, you're looking at the ceiling. This is not mine. I mean, normally I do it. Hi, Jenny. Come on, baby. Cooperate with me. Oh. You guys, I'm so sorry. I'm just not, it's not cooperating. I don't have my proper stand. I was trying to do it on my laptop. My laptop won't cooperate.
Oh, no.
Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you, Angie. It is a bit of a mess right now, but that's because I was cleaning house earlier. Okay. Again, I apologize. Laptop's not being polite. Doesn't want to connect properly. I can see your comments, so that's awesome. And thank you guys for jumping in. So, today's live, we're going to do it on working with and invoking the power of the elements. That's, there's so much that we can do when it comes to using the elements within our workings and our path, right? So, ow, I just hit my knee. I am glad to see you. Ow, that hurt. Okay, anyway. So, our elements, right? Earth, air, fire, water, and sometimes spirit. Not always, sometimes. It means engaging with the core natural forces for spiritual balance. Thank you, hon. Appreciate it. Magical practices, healing, or self-understanding. Often by representing them, performing rituals like bathing for water, meditating with crystals for earth, just a couple of little short examples. And then there's using corresponding herbs, oils, or even recognizing their traits, like passion for fire, intellect for air, grounding for earth, and emotion for water, right? I mean, those are great traits. I love them. Anyway, and also recognizing all of that within your own body. So it's about connecting to nature's building. Hi, Ellen. Building blocks to align with life's energy, whether through simple mindfulness or formal ceremony, right? So your core concepts of your elements. We've got your 4 elements, right? Earth, grounding, physical. Air, mind, communication. Fire, passion, transformation. Water, emotion, intuition. Those are what those ones stand for. Of course, 5 elements, that would be our spirit. I don't know why. Bless you, baby. Or space or void. There's so many different things. But that's, bringing everything within our fifth element, right? Correspondence. Each element also links to zodiac signs. I didn't know that. I know Ellen knows this one. And your chakras. Earth, your root. Water, sacral. Fire, solar plexus. And air, heart. And then there's also the links to archangels and even physical states, right? The minor arcana in the tarot helped drill the elements and their correspondence into my brain, right? I mean, I really don't resonate with tarot, but I know that there are connections there also. So then there's also different ways to work with them. And the reason I'm kind of breaking all of this down is because you take all of these small elements, your core concepts, your ways to work with them, examples in your practice, and then you just literally combine it all together, So that's kind of why I wanted to break it all down first. Anyway, ways to work with them. Ways to work with your different elements are mindfulness in nature. Simply observe and interact with elements in nature. Feel the water. Watch that fire. Touch the earth. And listen. Yeah, listen to the wind, right? That's one way. Ritual and altar represent the elements on your altar. Your candle for fire, your bowl with water in it, obviously water, crystals for earth, and incense for air. And that helps to create balance. Your third way, body and energy. Identify elemental imbalances within your own chakras or within your body, and use practices like yoga and meditation to help rebalance. Another one, symbolism and tools, is use herbs. Your herbs more for smudging, but anyway, use herbs, crystals, colors, directions. Each one does have their own direction also. Directions associated with each element in spells or even during meditation. Oh, good. I'm glad that breaking it down helps. That's how I learn. That's how I have to learn things. And then, of course, there's meditation. Focus on an element or a couple of elements at a time. I usually use water. That helps me with my meditation. And sometimes I'll have to combine, like I'm sure you guys can hear the fish tank in the background. And for me, that really helps with my meditation. Just listening to the fish tank helps. But then sometimes I need to throw another element in there, and so I'll light an incense. So I'll have air, and I'm gonna get there in a minute. I am. I've got a little breakdown, so I'll give you that information also. That's coming up. Anyway, I will use like combine elements. Light an incense, listen to water. Anyway, you could for meditation, focus on. That's all great for helping me learn. Oh, nice. Very nice. I like that. Focus on an element to help with meditation. I've always struggled with meditation. So this, focusing on an element, is what helped me get it down, Oh, good. Anyway, examples of being able to focus on an element to help you with your meditation. Water gazing, fire gazing, listening to the water running, like the fish tank. Hi, Miss Christy. Glad to see you pop on. Lighting an incense for the air element. Like I said, fire gazing. You could light a candle and watch the candle. That's fire gazing. But all of that can help you focus. Oh, very nice. I'm not allowed to have a water fountain or anything like that at work, so I have to listen to music, and that helps me focus. Anyway, it helps you to be able to focus during your meditation and improve your presence within your meditation, right? So then I'm coming down to examples within your own practice. You need to pick one. Which one? Water helps me the most. Water is my. I can fall asleep to water. Water, even though I'm a earth, water is my balance. So everybody has a different thing. I'll have to double check. I think my husband's balance that helps him calm is fire. Is fire your balance, elemental wise? Is fire what calms you the most? Yeah, then fire's his balance. So I would just, in order to be able to see which one is yours, just what calms you, like the quickest. That's going to be the one you start off with. Popped onto Facebook and was surprised there was a live going on. I'm all over the place today. Well, I'm glad you were able to catch the live. Anyway, that's a good way to help you focus on it or to find out which one to focus on is, and you can even try each one. Which one helps you calm the quickest? And that's going to help you with your focus, right? Okay, examples within your practice. Water. Take a ritual bath, or even just take a bath, right? Swimming. While drinking water, drink it mindfully. Water makes you have to go pee. Well, I mean, it does that too, but I'm not going to lie. You listen to water, it makes you go pee. It's talking to your body and telling your body that it needs to get rid of toxins, right? So maybe water is one of your elements. Alexa says that she loves wind. That's awesome. Well, I don't like it when it's too cold either, but I do love wind also. Anyway, water. Take a ritual bath. Swim. For me, we don't have a pool, but we do have a hot tub. So climbing in the hot tub, right? Drink water mindfully. And what I mean by that is while you're drinking a glass of water or whatever, anytime you're taking a drink of water, imagine it cleansing you from the inside out. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's what it's doing anyway. So just imagine it happening. Or even gazing into a glass or a bowl of water. Drinking mindfully is actually a really good practice. Where I can pretend my Diet Coke is... No, you don't get to pretend your Diet Coke is water. No. Why is spirit a sometimes chakra? What? See what you started, Em? She can't see what she started. So I'm going to answer, right? I'm going to answer Jenny's question here real quick. Why is spirit a sometimes chakra? Okay, so it's not actually a sometimes chakra, but it is a sometimes element. Not everybody includes spirit into their elemental workings. you've got, your earth, air, fire, water, and they each represent a direction, north, south, east, west. And if you're going to include spirit, that would be center instead of one of the other four directions. Some people include it all the time. Some people don't. Usually when I'm doing my working, I don't specify, okay, this spot, this center is spirit because I am spirit. I am the center. Do you know what I hope that makes sense. So that's why we say sometimes, because some people don't consider themselves as the center, as the spirit element. I do. And some people use spirit as an external element like the other four. So that's the way I would answer your question. Let me see what Rachel had said, and then I'll move on. Mindful drinking practice. I like infused water with herbs and fruit. Very good. And that's really good for you and healthy for you. Incorporate that into my mindfulness too. Yes, absolutely you can. Okay, so examples in practice. I'm going to go back over water really quick. Take a ritual bath, swim, drink your water mindfully, and gaze into or a glass or a bowl of water. And yes, that's very true. The pentacle does have spirit as an element. I don't know. I cannot answer why that's on there. I think because it's including all five elements as the elements. Another reason why we say sometimes, because I am that fifth element. Makes a lot of sense, the directions in the center to me. I've always felt that part of the elements I included. And that's great. That's awesome. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that I clarified it pretty good. You love doing magic in your shower. I do a lot of workings when I'm taking my shower. I'm cleansing my body at the same time. Water is my element. Why not? Why would I not utilize that time? And Alexa, you're totally fine. You're doing fine. Thank you. Okay, anyway. Fire. Examples in practice for fire. Use candles. Use them for passion, right? Use them for anything, but if you're wanting to ignite, right? Ignite something, bring something in. Fire. Use candles. Perform cleansing rituals with the fire. And express creativity. Fire does represent creativity, right? Earth. Meditating with grounding crystals. Walking on the ground, for God's sakes. Grounding yourself. There is so much magic in the mundane. I mean, it's ridiculous what you can do. Even just walking down to your mailbox and back up. It's all about what you want to do and what you feel you can do, right? Anyway, stepping outside, grounding yourself. You're using the elements, right? You're using earth. Working in your garden. That's one of my favorite things to do in the spring and in the summer. Fall too, because I love harvesting. And then using grounding herbs. There are herbs that are associated with each element also. Air. Using essential oils. Practicing clear communication. That is also including the air element. And then here's one that I bet a lot of people don't think about. Focusing on your own breath work. So when you're meditating and you're doing the breathe in for 3 or 5 seconds or 7 seconds. I don't do 7 seconds. I usually do 3 or 5. And then breathe back out. But you make them nice and slow and controlled and count them in your head. That's working with the air element right there. You know, a lot of people don't realize. Oh, I love that he recognizes that also. That's awesome. My husband's the same way. He does recognize it. Yes, breath work is very helpful. You know, it helps us. Oh, it's just ridiculous. It also helps us to calm down when we're, you know, in one of those rage, pissed off moods. Breath work, important. Well, for the longest time, obviously, I didn't think about using oils for air. I always associated them with water because the fact that they're liquid. And then finally I read about associating oils with air. And it was like the damn, you know, skies above my head opened up and the angels started singing. My aha moment. That's kind of how I like to describe that. Scent. It was the scent of the oils, and air carries the scent. That was my aha moment to connect oils to air. So that's how I connected it. And that when I read about it, I was like, there it is. Now I know why. You count to your heartbeat. Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Used a heating pad to represent fire. Very nice. What we can do with the mundane things in the world, right? Absolutely. Same or with earth. Yes. Yes. Okay. So elemental magic is a system of spiritual and practical work, centered on the 4 or 5 classic elements of nature. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit. Right? It's the aha moment. I have those. I get a lot of those. Sometimes I do imagine myself coming up and just smacking I'd like literally step out of my own body and hit myself in the back of the head like, duh. But yeah, that's just my own. So sometimes I wonder if I should be committed. Yeah, it is a great idea. Get it? Sense, right? Pun intended. Anyway. So us as practitioners, we work with these fundamental energies because that's what they are. They are energies for personal development, spiritual empowerment, and spell work. And that's the thing is when I started working with the elements, you're talking who knows how long ago. When I started working with the elements, it was more about spell work. And then I started realizing how beneficial, sorry if I crack, I wasn't doing any screaming or anything last night, but somehow I lost my voice in my sleep. I was trying to talk to my husband and it was just squeaks earlier. He was calling me Beaker. Anyway, it took me a little while to realize how much the elements can actually help us with our own spiritual empowerment and personal development, our confidence, our own inner power that we have with them, right? And so now I include it in all of that. And you know what? I'm looking at Pixie's comment right here about corresponding oils to the earth. Absolutely. If you feel more leaning more towards associating the oils with earth because of where they come from, why not? Who says you have to associate? Just because I do, you don't have to, right? So yeah, I think that's actually awesome. Let me open that up a little bit more and see if there's something, if I missed anything. No. Yes. So there we go. Yeah, absolutely. And who knows? Maybe later use it for both, right? You know, just a thought. Okay. Principles and philosophy. Does this tell me? No, it doesn't. Huh. Principles and philosophy. Elemental magic, it's literally rooted in ancient philosophies. More notably, Greek concept formalized by, and I'm going to screw this up, Empedocles. I don't know why I wrote it because what I read said that. In the 5th century BCE. They stated that these elements are as fundamental building blocks to the universe, of the universe. I'm going to read that comment in a second, Em. In spiritual traditions, these elements are not just physical substances, but also represents archetypical energies, psychological traits, and philosophical concepts. So, I know, lots of big words for me today. Ugh. Anyway, I'm going to read M's comment here. Found the older I get in my craft, the less it is about the actual spell work. Now it's shifting towards bettering myself and the connections to my life. I so feel exactly the same way. Absolutely. Realizing that everything I do, every little thing I do on a daily basis, mundane stuff, it's all for me, about me, but it's still spell work at the same time, all the time, every day, all day. You know, one of my lives, I did it on mindful thinking. And the reason I did that live was because, you know, I wanted everybody to understand also, not only does mindful thinking raise your internal vibrations, which in turn raises other people's vibrations around you, but you're doing spell work no matter what. You're raising your vibrations. You're raising your vibrations. Whatever you whisper in your head, you're bringing into fruition, you know? So that was why I had done that live. So yes, you know, it is less about the actual spell work. You know, it's more about you. Is the spell work still important? Of course it is, you know. But do we have to do these big, massive, elaborate spells? Depends on the situation, right? All day, every day. There's a song, all day, every day. Yeah, there it is, right there. All day, every day. Right, autocorrect. Love. Oh. Literally everything I do. All day, every day, everything I do. Absolutely, same thing. Okay, I'm gonna continue on with my, but this is my breakdown of my principles and philosophy, and this is where we're gonna go into the directions also. Okay, so balance. A core principle is striving for balance, right? An overemphasis on one element can lead to imbalances in a practitioner's life. Too much fire can result in impulsiveness. So there does still have to be balance, even though we have our one that we like to use to help us meditate, help us calm down, whatever. We still do need to try to have a little bit of balance. You know what I mean? So in other words, don't always go to fire. You know what I mean? Or don't always go to water. You know, try to give yourself a little bit of balance. Yep, I agree with Ellen on that. Absolutely. Exactly. Connection. The practice involves building a relationship, yes, just like we do our deities, building a relationship with the elemental energies. We want to be able to have that relationship. They have a tendency, the elements themselves, they're all around us all the time. But And I mean everywhere we go. It doesn't matter. It's all part of nature. So the elements they surround us, but build a connection with these elements, and you're literally going to encourage them to be like, little molecules or magnets that whenever you call to them, they're like, here I am, right here, ready to help you out. We're here, right? So building a connection. I know a lot of people don't think of that, but just because they're out there, just like our deities are all out there, but in order to be able to work with them and be able to successfully work with them, we still need to build a connection with them. Sorry, I'm getting excited. Some people even view the elements as intelligent spirits, or manifestations of a greater deity. I don't feel that way, but I did put that in there because some people do feel that way. And there's nothing wrong with it. Great. That's awesome. But for me, the elements are given to us by nature. And of course, as witches and practitioners, we respect everything in nature. We're going to respect the elements on top of that too, because why wouldn't we? Anyway. And then on top of that, when you have a connection with them, you're not merely dominating them with your will, right? And then there's the witch's pyramid. I don't know if anybody has heard about the witch's pyramid, but this concept actually outlines 4 pillars of practice, each associated with an element. To know is air. To dare is water. To will is fire. And to keep silent is earth. Now, I don't know who's familiar with the witch's pyramid or not. If you guys want, pop on, let me know. Might be a must live at a later date. Anyway, just let me know what you think, because I've noticed that I've had to explain when we had the shop open. I had to explain what a witch's pyramid was at the time, and I think it's awesome. I think it's a great. You don't have to go by it 100%. You don't have to abide by it, but to be able to just have that little pyramid in the back of your brain is helpful, and it helps you with your practice and your workings when you're putting something together to do spell work. The witch's pyramid is actually really helpful. I like it. It's great. Anyway, so, thank you. So now I'm going to move on to the elements and their correspondences. Let me switch this because it's on 2 papers. Right? We have some that have not heard of it, some that utilize it, and some that are just finding out about it. Yeah. All right. All right, that might have to be my next live, or at least one coming up soon. We'll figure it out. All right, elements and their correspondences. Each element is associated with specific qualities, directions, especially in a ritual circle, or even just working on your altar. And standing, however, working on your altar. I am so sorry. I just had a bubble moment. Don't know what happened. Your tools and what element corresponds to what tools, and their personality traits, and various and this is with multiple traditions, not just ceremonial magic or Wicca or hoodoo or voodoo and Native American working. It's not literally just one type. This is kind of a conglomerate of multiple. We know that I do practice multiple forms, and so this is my list. Okay, looks like the eyes have it. Anyway, okay, so Earth is north. Okay, you might want to get your pens and pencils out for this one, or pencil and notepad, or whatever. Anyway, Earth is north. Its qualities and associations are stability, endurance, security, wisdom, practicality, material world, growth, and abundance. There are more, but this is just my short list. Makes sense though, right? Ritual tools and symbols, pentacle, stones, soil, plants, obviously, right? And crystals. So that would be your earth. My next one is air. Air is east. Your qualities and associations for air: intellect, communication, creativity. Now I know that I said creativity is fire, but it is also air. Okay? Some of these are gonna cross, over. We're gonna have a little bit of overlap here. Gonna have to rewatch and take notes. No worries. Absolutely. Anyway, creativity, inspiration, mental clarity, freedom, and swift action. I use a little jar of dirt. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's perfect. All right. So for your ritual tools and symbols, air would be your wand, your incense, feathers, and even images of birds. There are others, listening to the wind through the trees. I don't have those written down, but anything that has to do with air, I like if you're combining two, right? An example would be to use a candle for fire, and then the smoke that's above the flame could be your air. You're using one item, but for two elements, right? So you could do that also. Fire. Fire is south. Your qualities and associations for fire are passion, energy, willpower, courage, transformation, creativity, intensity, and assertiveness. Your ritual tools and symbols would be obviously candles, flames, ashes, and your antheme. I use a shell for water, a feather for air, a stone for earth, and a candle for fire. Absolutely perfect. You can utilize any tool that you want. If it resonates with you to fit that element, who says you can't use it, right? And those are absolutely perfect. Okay, water is west. Your qualities and associations for water are emotion, intuition, healing, cleansing, adaptability, empathy, reflection, and nurturing. And then your tools and symbols are your chalice, cup, bowl, right? Shells. There you go, Brandy. Water source. And surprisingly, it was to me at first, mirrors. Mirrors also help to represent water. Some little tiny incense sticks for Eric, right? They're great. And then I did put spirit on here also. Spirit, your direction for spirit is the center. While doing your workings, if you're doing it on the ground and you've got your north, south, east, west all around you, obviously you are the center. When I'm at my altar and I'm doing my workings, I do have these little coins that have, and I have candles. But I need to find more candles because somehow 2 of mine are missing. I think my cat stole them. But they were in the shape of the element. They're just gone. But anyway, I would lay them out to where I had the 4 elements over here with the self element in the middle, and then I would do the coin closest to me to represent center. So I do that. Ellen, I never knew about for the longest time, didn't know about the mirror and water connection. And then when I read about it, I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. Well, I'm glad I can help you get a little bit more information. Absolutely. So anyway, okay, your qualities and your associations for center, spirit, right? The source of all elements. There it is, right? That's what it is. It is the source of all elements in the first place. The interconnectedness. And that's funny, Brandy, because I was just about to use that word. Fluidity. Fluidity. Whatever. That's the word I wanted to use. Right. All of it together, the void, the life force, and pure consciousness. Bringing it all together. And that is why I usually don't consider spirit as an outside element. That is why I am spirit when I'm doing my workings. Because of those qualities and associations alone, right there. Know what I mean? And then, as for rituals, tools, symbols, sky's the limit. I literally put the word NA. Because, and I know that NA means not applicable, but I put that because everything is applicable. Everything is applicable. There's anything and everything that you could use to just, because you're bringing everything in. The center is bringing everything in. You know what I mean? The embodiment. Exactly. Perfect word right there. Okay, I literally got like one more paragraph. Yeah. One, and then I'm done. It's not a very long live, but and of course, pop on with any more questions, comments. I'm loving your guys' comments and you're connecting to everything and throwing out your own ideas and what you do and stuff like that. That's just awesome because I love sharing the information. Excuse me. So I just love it. Okay. So, practical applications for using. Oh, good. I'm so glad you like it. Practical applications. Practitioners of elemental magic use a variety of techniques to connect with these energies, right? Busy writing notes. I have a comment. That's okay. You're doing great, honey. Thank you. Thank you for commenting at least that. Anyway, meditation. I know I've said it, 10 times already. I'm going to keep saying it. Meditation. I suck at it, but I still try. focus on the qualities of each element, and to understand their inner workings and how they can even relate to oneself, relate to each other, relate to you. Okay? But for me, I had to start off one by one. Now I can kind of bring them all in. But I've also been doing it a long time. Scribbling like a mad woman. I'm sorry. I was trying to slow down, but yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to keep up either. Anyway, altars. Having the elements at your altar. For me, it's just an automatic go-to. Everybody's different. This is just what I need to get me back on track. I've been so off all week. There you go, honey. Yeah, why not bring nature into your practice? Sometimes we just gotta switch gears. That's what I like to call it. Switching gears. That's it. Anyway, altars. Creating a dedicated space at your altar. I do have a dedicated space at my altar with something that symbolizes each element, representing them to serve as a focal point when you're doing your workings. And for reflection while you're doing your working. Right? Just the majority of people are not like drawn to their actual zodiac sign. But that'd be a thing for Ellen to have to teach. I don't know what the reason is, but I know that there is, just like we have our zodiac signs, then we've got our sun and our moon, and then, but there's, just like we have our element that's associated to our zodiac signs, there's another element. There's one element that creates the anger and fire and desire in us, and it might not always be fire. And then there's one element that calms us and helps to take all of that away. And in most cases, it probably is with some people, but in most cases, it's not your actual zodiac sign. But I don't know the reason why. I have no idea. I don't know if it has to do with the houses, the placements. I don't know. All of your elements and see the balance across your whole chart. See, I knew Ellen would know she knows this. Ellen is our zodiac person. That girl has got that down. I love it. I can work with them a little bit, but I wouldn't know how to put somebody's chart together. Let me try to get caught up on that. Guess I need to keep working on it. It's a very informative life. Blessed be to you always. Oh, thank you, honey. Have a wonderful day. I'm weird that Scorpio values natural waters more than anything. Okay, so like I said, not everybody, but there are some. And there's one right there. It's all of the things at once, right? Okay, exactly. So, I'm going to finish up here. So with using or practical applications for rituals and spells, I'm just going to move on. Invoking, I wrote invoking elemental spirits, but I don't consider them spirits. I consider them energies. So awesome, Ellen. That would be amazing. I know it's going to be crammed pack of people watching that one for sure. Anyway, I don't consider the elements as spirits. I consider them as energies. They are energies given to us by the earth, by the world, everything surrounding us. So, calling upon the four quarters, north, south, east, west. They are quarters, right? That's going to be a whole nother live too, because then you start getting into the moon and their quarters, and about to open a can of worms on that one. Or incorporating elemental correspondences into spells and ceremonies to direct that energy for specific outcomes. Yes. You're working on money magic. You can use a specific element for that money magic. You're doing something for love. Use a specific element for the love. And it's not, your association with those elements is not going to be the same for everybody, okay? Like for me, I'm not going to use water if I'm doing a money ceremony. My reasoning is water can run through your fingers, right? Dirt, you can hold it in your hands. I want that grounding. I want that stability. I want it to hold in my hand, not run through my fingers. Okay, so personally, I'm going to associate earth for money magic. It's all that, this part is, I mean, yeah, there's suggestions, not guidelines. There's suggestions, right? Yeah, elemental spirits just doesn't fit right for me either. Now, if I'm doing love working, I'm definitely going to use fire because I want to ignite that passion. And I'm going to use spicy herbs. I'm going to throw some fucking... And it doesn't matter if I'm doing a love working on somebody else. I'm pointing at my husband over there because he's watching me and listening. Or if I'm doing something for myself, if I'm doing a love magic for myself, you know, I'm having a bad month and I feel like shit and I need help with loving myself. Yeah, I'm going to do working on myself too. So I'm going to do something that... Yeah, see, everybody's different, Pixie. That's why I was saying, you know, that when it comes to associating the elements for your rituals and your spells, that is going to be extremely personal to you. Okay? I've always used water to take things away. When I do a working and I need to use the elements, you know, say I've done my working, I've melted down, my candles are all the way down, you know, the herbs, everything's gone, it's ashes, whatever. I will scoop all of that up, and I have a specific body of water that I go to now that I have found it, I can get to it easy. I've driven past it so many damn times, but now I found I could get to it. And I throw it in the water. Why? Because I want that river flow to take it away. When I do an egg cleansing, you know, my egg cleansing that I did, the live that I did that one on. When I was done with my cleansing and done adding all of my herbs and intentions and everything into it to send it back, right? I flushed it down the toilet because I used the water to take it away. So when it comes to your rituals and your spells, that is going to completely depend on how you associate the element. That's going to be completely personal to you. Everybody's going to be different. We're going to have a lot of similarities and a lot of overlapping. But that's why there's suggestions, but they're not guidelines. You know, I think that's everything in magic, though. It's just a suggestion. I don't think there are any guidelines, really. Grandma used to make us bathe in the Great Lakes to wash them. I always seen water and fire as release, right? Yeah, I don't like the man-made ones either. I agree with you. What side of the Great Lakes? My grandparents, before they had moved back to Michigan, and they lived actually right on the water before they came back to California. They're gone now. They have passed away since, but they came from Michigan and literally right on Great Lakes. And then my son was stationed over there when he was in the Navy. So that's why I'm just curious what side. Suggestions to build on. That's all they are. They're just suggestions to build on. Sometimes we just need a little, our mind, we get stuck in our own box and our mind just kind of goes blank and you're like, what goes where? Can it go in a box? Yes, no, or we start overthinking and we're trying to put a circle in a square hole, right? No. That's why these are just, okay, Michigan, there you go. My grandfather was from Muskegon. That's where he was from. My grandmother's family is from Canada. She's French Canadian. So, cool. I like Michigan. I've always liked that state. It's fun to go to when we go visit family. Huron, okay. Out in the Tawas. Nice, right on the lake. Right? Yeah, my family's from my grandfather's side. They're from Muskegon. And I had a lot of fun out there. Enjoyed it. We have a lot of summers out there. Anyway. For Losco. Okay, cool. Nice. Ideas are awesome. That's awesome. Oh, cool. Anyway, nature connection, right? The elements and nature connection. I mean, this one's kind of a given, but I'm still putting it in there anyway. Okay? Just because. Spending time in natural settings associated with those specific elements, right? That's why I said it's kind of a given, right? Forest for earth, lake for water. I do. So my husband was on the fire department for a lot of years. And sometimes when I needed to have that connection with fire and I knew they were on a fire call, I'd go and watch. Because just, you're seeing, they've got everybody out, whatever's on fire, they're putting the fire out. But to just be able to see that fire in its wild, natural state is crazy. Now, he hasn't been on the department in quite a few years, so I don't get to go see wildfires, so now I just light the fire pit. But I do let it grow wild, let it do its own thing and just be wild, because for me, in order for fire to really be able to let loose, it's got to be in its natural, wild state. Oh, wow, that is so cool, Em. But because of coal mine shafts, yeah, it's now huge. Yeah, that's exactly true. It is alive. I've growing up, we were always told that it's alive. That lake, Great Lakes, is alive. It is a breathing, natural, just like I live next to a volcano. It's alive. It is small world. And scary. You are correct. Yep, I'm trying to read comments as I'm going. So, changes. Oh, sorry. Right? You can feel the power from it. Absolutely, you can. Yep. Anyway, by getting out there and spending time near or in the element, one of the things that my husband and I absolutely want to do is, fire walking. And I think it'd be really cool for us to finally, I found a place that has like a retreat in London and they do it, but I don't know. There's some here, every time, it would be cool. It'd be cool to do it. Anyway, immersing yourself, getting out there in nature and immersing yourself. Yep, and I see Mount Shasta right outside my front porch. It is a magical volcano. Anyway, getting out there into nature, it actually helps to deepen your connection and your relationship with those energies. That's where I was trying to go with all of this as I was getting sidetracked. That will help to deepen. And then lastly, astrology. I mean, why not? Using astrological charts where zodiac signs are associated with specific elements to actually help you understand yourself and personal elemental affinities. That was like my last paragraph. That one I did specifically for Ellen. For my water. Yeah, it is scary. But it's about the release. And that's why I want to try it. I want to give it a go. So that is what I have. I know that we've had a few people taking notes as we're going. If there's any questions that you have, I can answer them. We can keep chatting a little bit, whatever. I did start late. My fault. Again, I do apologize for that. You see the elements in play in nature, right? I mean, sometimes just look out your window. And it's ridiculous that you could see all of them just going. You're very welcome, Ellen. I could not include it for you because the connections between our astrology charts and the elements is the connections. They're so they're not even close. They're like intermingled. So that was why I was like, I can't not mention them and how important they actually are. What am I drinking? It's called Two Towns cider. It's one of my favorites. And this one is called Maid Marian, and it tastes like Marionberry. It was this or a glass of wine, and it's Saturday, so I'm having a cider. But most that you need to answer yourself. Well, if there's something that you get stuck inside your own box on while you're trying to figure it out, don't hesitate to reach out. Always willing to answer questions, but you already know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah, right? They are just so connected. It is good. It's one of my favorites. I love this one. I found that I don't like the mango one. I can do the Cosmic Crisp, but I like flavor. And then there's a burgundy one. I can't remember the name of that one, and I like that one too. And I like that they're not heavily, there's carbonation, but they're not heavily carbonated, so I like that too. But yeah, this one's my favorite one. Oh, you guys are all so very welcome. I know that it's Saturday. I just got done cleaning my house. I did get a little bit sidetracked, but I just got done getting my house all cleaned up. Things are caught up. And now I'm about to go take a shower and get ready for a dinner that my husband is cooking for. A good friend of ours just turned 100. And so my husband's cooking for his party. So it's going to be so much fun. It's awesome. This man amazes me. Freaking 100 years old, still drives, still goes to the gym every day. Still 100% mentally there. It's crazy. I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, I hope I don't end up living that long, but kudos to him. Awesome. I'm really glad that you guys all enjoyed the live, and a lot of information there. Obviously, feel free to re-watch as you need for your own notes inside your books. And I'm really glad that this was helpful. I work with the elements all day, every day, and now that song is going to be stuck in my head. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's crazy how much power you could get from them. Right? It is an awesome celebration. So I'm going to go get cleaned up so I can, I don't think I would be appreciated if I showed up looking like this. Okay, well, I hope you do. I really hope you do. I don't want to live that long. No, I'll pass. You're going book shopping. Awesome. I don't have any books to recommend. Sorry. This is all notes that I have pulled from my numerous, just kind of like my own little notes here and there that I've pulled. Thank you so much. That I've pulled from my own book of shadows, I guess. My journal, my book that I've written in over the years. So I just kind of kept, looking for pages of things that I've written down on elements that I've read. So yeah, anyway, all right, on that note, I hope everybody has an absolutely amazing Saturday. And thank you for joining me on my live. All right, many blessings, you guys. Bye.